What the heck is this? No way. How come a shut-in like yourself has all of these high-end cosmetics? It's like trying to get a pig to wear a pearl necklace or something, right? From now on, I'm going to be using all of this high-end stuff for you. A shut-in loser like yourself is better off just using that cheap lotion like crap that you can get at the dollar store. Or better yet, don't even bother using anything at all because you're too ugly for it to cover up anyway. I think as a shut-in, though, your looks don't matter to you anyway, do they? Hey, Aisha, what are you going on about? Calling me a shut-in and making comments about how I'm like some kind of pig? As far as I'm aware, I'm free to use whatever kind of cosmetics I want, no matter what I look like. But how can a neat like you use all of these really high-end brands when you barely even go outside your house? I think I'm going to take all of these for myself now, since they'll be better utilized by me. Wait a second, how do you even know about the kind of cosmetics I've been using? You're talking about them like you're in my house right now looking at them. Uh-oh, so you finally realized that now. I've actually been in your place all day today, and from today onwards, this place is going to be our home. What? What do you mean by my house becoming our home now? This place that you've been living in, Haiti, is going to be given to us now. So I'm going to go ahead and start packing up all your things for you so that you can screw off to someplace else. And once you've found a place to move into, let me know so that I can be the generous and kind girl that I am and help you. Wait. What are you actually talking about right now? You think I'm just going to let you and my brother have that place? You have no right deciding something like that all on your own, Aisha. Yeah, sure I don't. This must be such a tough time for a shut-in like you. Having to get kicked out of your parents' place where you've been living rent-free for years now. But I find that this might be just the perfect opportunity for you actually, since you'll finally be forced to find a job. I'm telling you right now that it isn't cool for a woman your age to still be some kind of unemployed freak. Excuse me? Oh, and by the way, your brother and I only brought over a few cardboard boxes, so anything that doesn't fit is being tossed. Bye-bye now. Hey, Mason, what the hell is going on right now? Aisha just told me that you both are going to be taking the place from me and living there from now on.
Hey, Haiti, I know that you're a neat and all, but this gaming PC you have in your room is freaking amazing. I've been playing Apex on it all day, and the gameplay is so smooth and the thing never crashes on me. I've been able to take out so many enemies today, it's not even funny.
Are you serious right now? Who do you think you are going into my place with Aisha like that and using all my stuff? You're literally invading my home.
Invading? Why would you use a harsh word like that? This is Mom and Dad's house, not yours, which means I can come and go from here whenever I please. And another thing, how dare you keep all of this away from me? I had no idea that you were the one to inherit all of this stuff.
I thought that you and I split Dad's things fairly between you and I after he passed away. Which means you knew all the things I was getting, and I knew all the things you were getting.
Then what is all this from? I never remembered you getting this gorgeous house in the inheritance. I'm guessing you hid all of this from me so that I'd never become aware, right? How dare you do that to your own brother?
I never tried hiding it from you.
I thought in the agreement that we'd be selling all of Dad's things when he passed away, and then we'd split all the money from him in half. But it looks to me like you hid this house from me and took it all for yourself. I had no idea that my own little sister could be so damn sneaky.
Hold on a second. Calm down there, Mason. I think you're having a huge misunderstanding of what that place is.
What misunderstanding are you talking about? You've been the one getting to live a luxurious life all by yourself in this house. What's so hard to understand about that? How come you get to live this lavish, neat lifestyle with Dad's house and his money while I'm still having to work and crap? I won't allow you to have all of this by yourself anymore.
First of all, I am not a neat. Second of all, I never hid anything from you after Dad died. Now, would you please listen to my side of the story so that you'll stop yelling? I'm on my way home right now, so we can talk about everything when I'm there, okay?
I don't want to hear any of your fake excuses, Haiti. I knew something like this was going on, and that's why I waited with Aisha for the rare moment that you'd be out of the house and swooped in. I knew that you'd be leaving for a bit to go overseas so that you could use up more of the money Dad left for you, but too bad, because that trip to wherever the hell just cost you your secret house.
I see. So, you found out about how I'd be out of town for a few days and used that time to break in? And for the record, I wasn't overseas vacationing or anything like that. I was away on a very serious business trip.
What? There's no way a shut-in like yourself would ever be on a business trip. Now stop pretending like you have such an important job, or any for that matter. I know that you've been living off Dad's money this whole time, and that's why it's my turn to live that way.
What?
You and all the other unemployed losers in this world. If Dad were to find out about what you've been doing, he'd be crying his eyes out up in heaven. He would have to hear about how his daughter went and deceived his son and took his house from him as well as the money. I bet if he were still around, he'd have kicked you out of this place a long time ago. But since he's not here anymore, I'll do the job instead. You'd better start looking for a new place to go on your way home, because this place is mine now.
Aisha, is my brother around you right now? I have been calling him repeatedly, but he hasn't been answering any more of my calls. I really need to talk with him to clear up this misunderstanding he has about my dad's house and the other things, so could you please tell him to answer his phone? Of course he's not going to answer his phone to you. Listening to whatever excuses a shut-in like yourself can make up is a waste of time. So how about instead of claiming that this is all a big misunderstanding, you begin to apologize to him? You went and secretly took his home from your dad after he passed away, even though Mason is your older brother and deserves to have it. Don't you find that a little unacceptable? I did not secretly get that house after my dad died, all right? Can you at least please listen to the story behind all of what happened? No thanks. Now, from what I've seen, a lot of the things inside this house are yours, so can I please take all the really fancy things? What? I didn't even notice this before, but all of your clothing is even brand apparel. I think I can wear any of what fits me, and then the rest of it I can sell for some good money. Wait, you're wanting my clothing now, too? Actually, I've already sold some of the clothes I didn't like on Mercari. And those dishes you had in the kitchen cupboard that looked really tacky, sold all of them, too, for a great price. Are you kidding me? You've already been putting some of my things up for sale? Well, at first I was just going to throw all the rest of your things out that didn't fit in those boxes. But when I started looking at all your things here, they all come from some really high-end brands. So I've started to list a lot of the things I don't want or need, and they've been selling little by little. This is insane, Aisha. Not only have you taken over my house, but now you've started to either take or sell all of my things without even asking? Oh, come on. All of the things in this house were bought with your dad's money, right? It's not like all of this stuff cost you anything, so who actually cares if I sell it all? I told you already, that's not how I got all those things. All those cosmetics, that clothing, and those dishes were bought with my own money. And as for the house, it was never my dad's house. I bought it myself, and it's always been mine. Oh, geez, stop lying already. Money acquired from a deceased parent doesn't make it your hard-earned money or anything. And both Mason and I know you lied about everything in order to get all of this from your dad. That's why now you're starting to freak out, because this little old paradise is going to be taken away from you. I'm not freaking out. I'm just pissed that neither of you will listen to me right now. And hold on a second, didn't my brother get half of all the money my dad had? If you've both been wanting a house like that one so badly, then why not just buy your own place? There's no reason for you guys to be stealing mine now. Shut up already. When it comes to the family home, once the parents have both died, it goes to the oldest child. Why should Mason have to let his younger sister get the house he's entitled to? From now on, this house and everything inside it belongs to us. I see. Well, I guess it's pointless for me to try and say anything more to you. That's right, because this house was always meant for Mason and not some jobless loser like you. Do you understand that? We are living in this house starting today, and there's nothing you can do about it. Okay, I get it. And don't you ever show your face around the two of us again. Who would ever want to go around you guys or that house again? You guys have already tainted all my things and sold some of my stuff, so I don't care about it anymore. I'm going to end my rental agreement on the place and find myself an even more beautiful home to rent. What? Rental agreement? I told you this already, right? I never inherited that house from my dad after he passed away. I've had it from the very moment it was built and being rented out. And that's why I never could understand why both you and my brother were saying it was my parents' house. So, you've been renting this place? What do you mean by that? Isn't this supposed to be your family's home? The place your late dad purchased for you guys a while back, because that's what I was told by Mason. I heard that you guys used to have one house, but that your dad went and sold it last minute to come and live in this one with you and your brother. I see. So my brother has had the wrong idea about what all happened this whole entire time. No wonder he was having such a hard time believing me when I said the place has always been mine. So this was a misunderstanding on his part? What else has he misunderstood? Everything, I think. Sure, my dad used to own a house, and that's where we were all growing up in for a long time. But it was old and needed a lot of work done to it that he didn't want to pay for. So I suggested to him that it would be best if he sold the place and moved into an apartment. Around that time, my dad was getting ill and needed to visit the hospital more and more anyway. So being closer to the hospital in an apartment would be a lot better for him rather than having to drive an hour from home almost every day. The only issue was my dad had the money to get an apartment, but he never had the time to go out and look for one. So I took it upon myself to go looking, and I found that place and started renting it for him as a surprise. Why would you rent it for him if he had the money, though? Why not just find a place for him and use his money to rent it? Because I've made this place an office for my business, so it can all be written off during tax season. Renting the place myself for him was a major benefit to me, so I was never going to let him do it with his own money. And besides, I made sure that my dad saved all of his money for things like medical costs and such for himself. Wait, this is your office? But you don't have a job. You're just a NEET. No, I'm not. I work in the music industry and I run my business from my own home. And if you're wondering how I was able to afford to rent a place like that, it's because I'm making close to $200,000 a year with this job. Which is why I could afford that place and all of those brand goods. $200,000 a year? The only thing with my job is that it's not entirely all done from home, and that means I have to travel a lot. Especially overseas on business trips like the one I was just on. And, well, this one was a serious trip, and I was really looking forward to coming home to relax. However, now my house is occupied by 2 home invaders. I'm going to have to start looking for a new place right now, and I have to make sure the next place is just as big so it can serve as my office and home. Wait a second. I'm having a really hard time keeping up with everything you're saying. You run your own business? And that earns you close to $200,000 a year? And this apartment wasn't inherited from your dad, but is a rental you've been renting all along? That's right. And the rent for a place like that is $5,000 a month. I could have gone with a cheaper place, but my dad happened to like living on the fancy side a bit more than I expected him to. So I made sure when looking for a place to only look at the nicest apartments near the hospital. $5,000 a month? That's way too expensive. The apartment Mason and I had was only $900 a month. Well, luckily for the both of you, you just went from paying $900 a month to having to pay $5,000 a month with your new home. I hope you can both enjoy it while you can. Enjoy it? We can't even afford this place. Mason and I both thought this place was already owned by your dad and that we wouldn't have to pay to live here. Well, thankfully, you still have all that money from my dad, so you should be just fine living there from now on, right? Anyway, I have to go now. I'm almost back to the US and need to look for places to live right now. Bye-bye.
Hey, Haiti? You're gonna be paying the rent on this apartment for us. If you're making $200,000 a year, then you can pay for this place no problem, right?
Huh? If you and your wife want to live there, then you and your wife need to pay. No way I'm still paying the rent there after being thrown out by the both of you. You still have that money from Dad, so there should be no issues, right?
You think I still actually have all that money? I had to use all that money from Dad paying off all my debt, so it's gone now.
Really? What kind of debt were you in exactly?
After getting all that money from Dad's inheritance, I went and started to invest it all in the stock market and things like that. But I had no clue what I was doing and was always losing all the money I put in. And somewhere in that mix, I started to bet on things like horse racing.
You really used all of that money from Dad on those things?
Yeah, that's right. I thought that by gambling a little on something besides the stock market, I'd be able to make back all that money and more. But instead, I lost everything. And that wasn't all. It was Dad's money I got, so I decided to live fancy for a little while with it. I just thought that I'd only spend what I had received, but before I knew it, I was in debt.
You're lying, right? I get that we split all his money in half, but that was still a lot of money you received. At least close to 100,000 like me, right?
And that is why I need you to pay this rent now. And if you really want to, you can keep calling this place your office so that you get something out of it too. Then we can all benefit from you paying for this place still, right?
I'm not paying for that place anymore, so you two figure out what the hell you're going to do. Whatever is left of my things will be picked up soon by some hired help. And once I have my things, I am never going to bother with either one of you or that apartment ever again. You're so mean, Haiti. I was wondering what this letter was that you sent to us, and it turned out to be you asking for our money. What the hell is this for? That is me asking for whatever money you earned after selling most of my things. You went and sold all my possessions online without my permission, didn't you? Which means you're going to have to pay me back for all of them now. But you asking for that money now is a problem. I just assumed you bought all that stuff with your inheritance. When I was selling it all, I didn't think it was actually yours. That kind of excuse isn't going to work here. I want you to pay me every cent of that amount, please. You're an asshole, Haiti. I am your older brother's wife of all people, and not just an in-law, but your sister-in-law. Yet you want to take my money now? I'm apologizing to you, so you should be forgiving me, right? I haven't heard you say sorry yet. And even if you were saying sorry, this problem is too big to be solved that way. Stop being so freaking cold to me. It's not our fault we misunderstood things. So just forget about what all happened and let's get along with one another again. Excuse me? Oh, that's right. If you wouldn't mind, I'd love to start helping you with your business. How does that sound? I'm sure it's pretty tough having to work a job like that all on your own, right? So I can start helping you out, and instead of having to pay me anything, you can just pay the rent on this place for us. What? Stop talking out of your ass over there. You're not worth paying $5,000 to employ. But I happen to listen to a lot of music, so I know a thing or two about it. I also happen to love karaoke. But when it comes to using a computer, I'm not too good at that, and I can't read music either. Who the hell would want to hire you then? All you keep doing is talking like an insane person, and you really need to shut it. If you both can't afford that rent, then leave the apartment at once. Why not just go back to that apartment you were paying $900 a month for? I understand why you might think we can do that, but we can't. We already had a little freak out and tried going back to that place, but our landlord was pissed at us. He told us that this was our second time falling behind on payments and that we needed to get all our things and move out immediately. Your second time? So that means you've already made late payments before on your old place? Had we been able to actually pay for that place on time, we wouldn't be in all this debt now, right? Wow. But there's no way we can pay him to live there now. Both myself and Mason quit our jobs before coming out here, so we aren't making any money anymore. What? Why did you both just quit your jobs? Because we both thought we could take this place over and never have to pay anything to live in it. And when it came to things like food and paying the bills for water and electricity, we'd get part-time jobs doing something easy. So that's why we both told our bosses we quit. You both are very optimistic, aren't you? So anyway, would you be able to help the both of us out? You both no longer have any parents around, so it's only you and Mason left, right? And that means no way would you be willing to abandon us, right? Well, I'm going to. I don't have any siblings anymore. I plan to move on from this and live life as a forever single woman who doesn't need a family. What? So you're not going to help us out then? You're not going to help us pay this rent? You think I want to help two strangers? I don't want anything to do with you both anymore. Which means from now on, I'm deleting both yours and Mason's contact info and blocking you guys. What did you say? If I don't do this now, I'm going to keep losing money having to waste time listening to you. Just like what's happening right now. I'm not wasting any of your time or money, though. I'm just asking for you to help us out a little here. You're making it sound like we're not worth your time right now, Haiti. Just because you're making more money than the both of us combined doesn't mean you can talk about us that way. But hasn't it been the both of you talking about me in such a poor way this whole time? You both have seemed to think that just because Mason is my older brother and you're his wife, you can do whatever you want to me. The only real difference is that he was born a few years earlier than me. And as for you, all you did was ride his dick well enough for him to want to marry you because there's nothing else about you worth marrying. Yet you both think that you have the right to talk to me like I'm some kind of neat and stealing all my dad's money and things. What? Who do you think you are talking to me like that? I think I'm a successful business owner talking to a spoiled little brat. But I can see that you don't want to listen to me anymore, and that's why I'm going to block you now. Which means you no longer have to bother with texting me anymore. What? Goodbye. I hope you both can find yourselves some jobs or a place to live that you can afford really soon. After that, I heard that both my older brother and his wife had to leave that place they took from me and go back to their old apartment they were asked to leave from. But of course, like the landlord already told them, they were not welcomed back and were told to go live on the streets for all he cared. And just like that, the both of them were homeless and without any jobs, otherwise called neats. I've heard that those two eventually found work at a convenience store part-time and have moved into a very cheap and small apartment. Despite that, I've also heard the debt my brother hasn't been getting taken care of any and is still on the rise. I guess neither of them have remembered that they need to pay all of that off, but who am I to care how they live their lives? As for myself and what I've been up to, I made the choice to move into a smaller apartment out on the coast. Here, I can be close to a beach where I can spend my free time relaxing, and I'm closer to the international airport, making it way easier for me to leave the country to go and see my clientele. I've also made sure not to tell anyone besides only my closest friends my new address, in an attempt to make sure neither Mason or Aisha can ever find out where I moved.